Thank you, Chairman, and thanks everybody for being here this morning. Thank the Fraternal Order Police for hosting us. I too believe this is an important hearing. I know there's some criticism out there coming from, well, you know, the data and the statistics may be blown out of proportion. My congressional seat is the suburbs of Milwaukee, and we've been kind of seeing a similar trend that's been going on for some time. First thing I wanted to just touch on, my father was a Chicago police officer. 1966, he was sworn in, and so I grew up, and our family grew up in the 15th District. He was there almost the entire time he was with the Chicago Police Department. One of the things that, so this would have been in the 70s, right? And one of the things that you saw, I think, back then that may be missing, and that's why I want to ask the question of you today. There used to be a sense of community policing. In other words, if you were certainly a beat cop in Chicago, you knew just about everybody that lived certainly on your block. You knew anybody that was in that district, or you had a contact with them. So there was much more of kind of a give and take when it came to everyday policing. I'm just wondering, have you seen that diminish over the years? And how much of that do you think is a problem? So, Lieutenant Guerrero, could you respond to that first?
There's no doubt people are becoming more and more isolated and less community-oriented. They tried to start doing block clubs and different things like that to get people involved to engage in their neighborhoods. But I think also what you know, if you were to go out and start knocking on doors in some of the most violent neighborhoods in the city, the residents there would tell you they want the police in their community. They want officers there. They want those gangbangers off the corner. They absolutely, they crave it. That what we're hearing, the narrative that we're hearing, is put out by the politicians. It's not the actual people that are on the ground in these neighborhoods. They actually want us there, and they want to work with us, and they want to make their communities safer. They don't want to have to worry about taking a bullet every time they go out for the groceries.
Right. Officer Yanis, can you respond to that? What is the feel kind of out there on the street?
I feel that, you know, the community is scared. You know, if they're seen talking to the police officers, nothing's being done to these offenders or criminals. So they're afraid of retaliation, so they kind of avoid officers and talking to them. I remember one incident where we cleaned a whole block. They were having an illegal block party, and it was like over 300 offenders in the street, and drinking alcohol, drugs. And once we cleared it out, you know, we kind of walked that whole block because offenders sometimes throw firearms under cars or in a bush. As we were walking, the neighbors started coming out, and it was at night time. You know, it was around 8:30 p.m. And they started coming out and sit on their porch. And I'm always the first officer that'll, you know, engage in a conversation with the community. And I spoke with an old elderly lady, and she was like, "Thank you for doing this." She was like, "I can't remember the last time I came out in the afternoon when it got dark and sat on my porch and felt safe." And we had supervisors had vehicles at each end of the block, and none of the individuals that were there on the block lived there. You know, we allowed everyone that lived on the block to stay, but none of them, I would say about 98%, didn't live there. You know, so
right.
It's really hard. You make it hard for witnesses in the community to step up. You know, it's just terrible.
Yeah, I think the other thing you hear oftentimes from officers is that if you apprehend somebody and within 24 hours, 48 hours, you see that that person's back on the street, that sends a message not only obviously to every officer that's on the street, but to other members of the community that, you know, everybody knows what's going on, right? They know if somebody's been arrested. They know if somebody's been part of an incident that went down in their own neighborhood, and then they're back out on the street. I mean, it just sends a wrong message, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely does. And actually, I would actually elaborate on that. A lot of them, the community knows who does the shooting, you know, but they're so scared because now the judicial system, you're forced to be a witness, and you got to attend, and let's say the witnesses have jobs. The court system, the attorneys, the defense attorneys, they keep continuing. It's all continuance all the time. And the criminals, they don't care because they don't have a job. They're locked up or being held on bond, so it's like they just keep continuing it till the witnesses get tired of the court system. It's just terrible.
Thank you both for your service. I yield back.